In a small village called Mogoni, lived a young man named Kolum. He was known for being quiet and always dreaming about getting rich quickly. While other young men farmed, hunted, or went to the city to work, Kolum stayed in the village, often sitting under the big baobab tree, thinking about how life was unfair to him. His mother, Mama Lemba, was a kind old woman who raised him alone after his father died. She sold firewood and helped people with herbs when they were sick. She believed in hard work, honesty, and prayer. But Kolum had grown tired of being poor. He wanted a big house, a car, and people to respect him. One day, he met an old friend from school who had become very rich. His friend, Matondo, drove a big black jeep and wore gold chains. Kolum was shocked. He asked, "How did you make all this money?" Matondo looked around and whispered, "There is a way, but it is not for the weak." Kolum begged him to explain. After a long pause, Matondo said, "There is a man deep in the forest near Rivanzila. They call him Beulah the ritualist. He gives people wealth, but there is a price." Kolum's heart raced. That night, he could not sleep. He thought of his poor hut, his worn-out clothes, and how people in the village laughed at him. He made up his mind. He would find Beulah. The next morning, Kolum told his mother he was going to the next town to look for work. He packed some food and left. It took him 2 days to walk to the Rivanzila. The forest was thick, and the path was narrow. He met strange animals and heard voices in the dark. At last, he found a small hut made of bones and feathers. A tall man with red eyes came out. "I am Beulah," he said. Kolum knelt down. "Please, I want to be rich." Beulah smiled. "You will have everything you desire, cars, women, houses. But you must give me something in return. The blood of someone you love dearly." Kolum trembled. "Like who?" he asked. Beulah replied, "A mother is the strongest sacrifice." Kolum went back to the village confused and afraid. He couldn't believe he was thinking about killing his own mother. For days, he avoided her. But the thought of wealth pulled him like a rope. One night, he stood over Mama Lemba's bed with a knife. She opened her eyes slowly and said, "My son, is this what you've become?" Kolum froze. She had seen the evil in his eyes. She did not scream. Instead, she cried softly and said, "If my death will give you peace, then do it." Kolum's hands shook. He wept, but in the end, he did the unthinkable. The next morning, he told people in the village that his mother had died in her sleep. Everyone came to cry, but he could not look them in the eyes. A week later, things began to change. Kolum received a phone call from a strange number. A man said he had won a large contract in the city. Then money started coming into his account. He bought land, built a big mansion, and moved to the city. He dressed in fine clothes and drove flashy cars. People in the village started talking about how lucky he was. But Kolum knew the truth. He had blood on his hands. At first, he told himself that it was worth it. He drank expensive wine, hosted big parties, and had women around him all the time. He even appeared on TV and was called one of the fastest growing businessmen in the country. But the happiness did not last. At night, Kolum began to have terrible dreams. He would see his mother standing at the foot of his bed, crying. Sometimes, she would call his name, saying, "Why, my son?" He tried to drink to forget, but the dreams kept coming. He heard her voice in the water, in the wind, even in the voices of children. Soon, he couldn't sleep at all. His health began to fail. His skin became dry and pale. He visited hospitals, but doctors found nothing wrong. One day, during a business meeting, he collapsed. When he woke up, he was in a small hospital with nurses whispering about him. Kolum tried to reach Beulah, but the ritualist had disappeared. His phone number no longer worked. The hut by the river was gone when he returned. Even Matondo, the friend who introduced him to the dark path, had gone missing. Kolum felt like he was being washed. His house started to smell like smoke and ashes, even though nothing was burning. One night, his mansion caught fire without warning. Everything was destroyed: cars, documents, clothes. He escaped with only his trousers. People began to avoid him, saying he was cursed. His name disappeared from the news. His bank accounts were frozen without reason. Broke and broken, Kolum returned to the village where no one wanted to see him. The elders knew something was wrong. "We warned the youth not to follow strange wealth," they said. Kolum had no home, so he slept under the same baobab tree where he once dreamed of riches. Children were told not to go near him. His eyes looked haunted. He hardly spoke. One day, a mad woman came to the village and began to shout, "He killed his mother. He killed her for money." The villagers stoned her, thinking she was insane. But Kolum knew the truth. She was right. That night, he cried harder than he had ever cried before. Kolum decided to confess. He went to the village chief and told the whole story, from meeting Beulah, to killing his mother, to the dreams and the fall. The chief was shocked. He called the elders and they performed a cleansing ritual. They took Kolum to his mother's grave and made him beg for forgiveness. He fainted during the ritual and stayed unconscious for 2 days. When he woke up, he was weak but peaceful. The dreams stopped, but so did everything else. He remained poor. The village allowed him to live in a small hut near the river, where he grew herbs and helped the sick, just like Momalemba. Years passed, and Kolum became a quiet man. He no longer looked for wealth or fame. He told young people who came to him, "Don't let hunger for money make you kill your soul." His story became a warning in the village. Children were taught to value family, hard work, and honesty. Kolum never married. He spent his days in prayer and healing. Every year, on the day of his mother's death, he walked barefoot to her grave with flowers and tears. He had riches once, but they had come at too high a price. In the end, he found peace, not in gold or cars, but in truth and repentance.